This is to the One Piece community. I do want to state immediately that my eyes are red because I just woke up. But I do want to state that I do respect that you guys pointed out your regrets with my video complaining about the Luffy versus Kizaru fight. And 100%, you guys were very respectful in the comments. You guys didn't call me names, essentially just said L take. And I gotta respect that, honestly. Better than the Dragon Ball Z community. I want to point this out. Hold on before I can get into this. The Dragon Ball Z community, they sent me death threats when I talked about Spark Zero, the game. You guys just reasonably said I had bad takes and said a horrible takes and Fergie's supposed to be chaotic. Yeah, buddy, stay in your lane. This isn't even an insulting comment. It said don't talk about One Piece or anything about animation. Not even an insulting comment. I'm just gonna keep doing this. Really appreciate you guys not actively going to name calling. I do appreciate that. Lost all the crew and image and budget. Appreciate you guys. You guys didn't do anything nuts. You guys just reasonably said that. I really do. I appreciate that. I love that because usually I get a lot of hate messages. And this isn't rage bait. I'm not trying to rage bait anybody at all. I really am not. My main narrative through line, and I want to point this out. I said this in the video. I'm going to restate this now.
I can understand the disdain for it too, because people are saying it looks like trash. It's very well animated.
It's very well animated. I want to point this out. The direction is my issue. The direction of the fight is the issue. The animation, realistically, isn't my gripe. It looks pretty. On all fronts, it looks beautiful. The direction of how they showed it pissed me off, is what I'm getting at. Let's continue right quick.
But that doesn't really mean anything. You can have high quality visual stimulation. You could have $1 billion put into a video game, but the gameplay in itself sucks, right? The gameplay is ass. Your $1 billion is not beating Undertale, right? You know what I mean?
So, and my argument was more so for simplicity, showing me what's going on. You can show me speed of light feats. You can have it be visually pleasing if the direction of the visual stimulation is really good. There are certain moments in the Naruto vs. Pain fight where I thought it looked unfollowable. It just looked goofy because of the blur lines of the animation, as if they want to put a motion line through everything. There's a grainy filter over the Sukuna versus Maharaga fight, and those fights in general agitate me because I don't know what's going on. And I brought in a few examples, and this is fan animation, so I can actually show them. So this is the actual fight. I watched it over 7 times, and I still have a few issues with a few large parts of the fight in general. I have issues with the direction of the motions of how things go. If we go by this frame by frame, it's very visually beautiful. This scene, he's laying on his back, very visually beautiful. And witnessing him dodge the beams and things of that variety. My issue isn't in itself the animation. It is the direction at which they did the animation. My issue is the directioning of it. I think it doesn't have a good following through line. And someone pointed out, I think choreography means hand to hand. So I want to point this out. Choreography is the sequence of motion of what I'm trying to follow through. That's what choreography is. The art of practice of designing choreographic sequences, the writing notion for a choreographic sequence. It's the sequencing of how it is. The flow movement is the definition that I'm using. There's fight choreography, there's dance choreography, there's choreography when it comes to events. That's what I'm referring to. So let's take this for example, which I can actually show. This part in particular from this fan animator, Kayaka, who did this amazing fan animation of Gear 5 Luffy versus Luffy and Awaken Lucci. This is what I'm referring to when I say good choreography. Watch this little 10-second sequence. That is showing the Toon Force very clear and cohesive. But the argument that I was getting a lot of the time was, well, Kizaru has the speed of light. He's supposed to be moving at the speed of light. It's supposed to be flashy. It's supposed to be chaotic. And to your credit, I will give you that. I'll give you that specific piece. But I still need to follow along what's going on. And there's other really good animations showing the Toon Force, such as this right here. Despite it not adding anything, this is just a one-to-one recreation from what's going on future in the manga. But this is what I mean by good choreography. And I apologize for using so many Naruto references, but Naruto does have a good choreography and through line where I can follow it. Someone had pointed out the aspect of, oh, you brought up Dragon Ball Z. Back in the day, Dragon Ball Z was nothing but visual chaos and noise. In the original Dragon Ball, they had very good depictions of fighting. In Dragon Ball Z, there are a few moments where the fighting was outstanding. The first part of Goku versus Cell was outstanding. The Android 17 versus Piccolo was outstanding. A large part of the Frieza versus Goku fight was very well animated. The Vegito versus Majin Buu fight was very good. A large part of Dragon Ball Z is just and I hate that. That's disgusting and stupid. Not very fun. And I don't mean just the hand-to-hand fighting portion. If you can show amazing, outstanding powers being shown in a very good way, and this is an example of big powers being shown in a good way, not just hand-to-hand fighting. So you can show dynamic and crazy, just wild powers. You can show that while it's still being cohesive on the screen. My biggest gripe was that it didn't look cohesive. And it's supposed to be, I imagine, in some ways chaotic to show the nonsense of the Toon Force and the speed of a man moving at the speed of light. That's fine and dandy. You can still let me see it. You can still be better directed. My issue into totality is with the direction of what I'm witnessing, not with the animation in itself. The animation is, for all intents and purposes, very well done. I think the animators did an amazing job. I think the direction of whoever is directing it did not do the best way. I think the visual style is very pleasing. I really do. I believe this is the same person that did the Kaido versus Luffy fight, and that fight looked, I love the way that fight went. It was amazing. I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. My biggest gripe, I believe, is just the actual depictions of what is happening and why it looks so goofy. There are certain points where people were saying, oh, the laughing of Gear 5th Luffy was nutty. And I think I have the same issue when it comes to a lot of the sequences where it shows the loopiness of what it is and how loose he is. I know it's supposed to look loopy because he is showcasing the Toon Force. I understand the narrative cohesion and the narrative purpose behind it. I really do. My issue is that there are better ways of depicting it. There are other examples of better ways of depicting the Toon Force in the animalistic animation style that they've been choosing. That's my biggest gripe. You can say it's an L take as much as you want to. You can disagree with me. I don't care. I do appreciate you guys, though. You guys are very reasonable, and I love that. And that's why I'm opening up more of the conversation, because you guys have been very reasonable and not insulting me. I really do appreciate that. You guys are not attacking my character. You guys are simply attacking my opinions, and I really do appreciate that. That is very refreshing. That is probably, and it's going to sound weird considering I've been in the One Piece community for quite some time. It's very nice to have people just be angry at the words you say and not attack you. It feels very welcoming in the community to where we can actually have a conversation, and that's very nice. I do appreciate that. I love that about you guys, and that's very nice to have. I'm very sick right now. I'm so sorry. If you guys have any questions or anything of that variety, you can comment them or anything of that variety. But I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I still think the fight is horribly visually overstimulating and the direction is bad, but the animation in itself is pretty good, as I stated in the original video. This is what I said. So yeah, bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my loyalties low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.